NECA Jenkins. She is the founder of Onyx Wealth Realty. She is passionate about helping her clients build wealth and achieve their real estate goals. A seasoned professional, having completed more than 450 transactions, totaling over 400 million, all while growing her family to 6 kids with an extremely supportive husband and partner. Yeah, I heard the wows. Did you hear? They're like, whoa. So she's going to teach us a lot, I'm sure. And I'm going to do an edited version of everybody's bio because everybody here has such an extensive amount of knowledge that it's unreal. Next, we have Lauren Ronan. She has been selling real estate since 2016. She is an active member of her community of Morgan Hill, and her specialty is upgrading individuals from their first home to their second home. Her favorite thing to do is to make her clients both money and memories. When she's doing this, she feels complete joy. Next, we have Michelle Perry. Michelle is an experienced realtor with a demonstrated history of working in the real estate industry for 25 years. She's also the past president of Nora Silicon Valley, the past president of Nora San Benito. She also has started other nonprofits like the Gilroy Latino Family, and she is our president-elect for 2024. So Michelle's going to show us how we combine real estate with service for our industry. And then finally, we have Helen Chong, who is a legend. She's the founder and CEO of Halen Group, and she is consistently ranked as one of the Bay Area's top producing real estate agents. Motivated by an early life of financial hardship, her primary aim is to help her clients achieve financial security at retirement. Helen moved to the US from Hong Kong by herself in search of the American dream. She managed to graduate from UCLA with a degree in economics while working up to 3 jobs. Come on up, Helen. And let's give all our panelists a hand. These are some amazing women. I am so stoked. I'm glad this is, so we do have some people on Zoom watching, and this will be recorded, and we will also get a copy of it when we're done. So if you guys have to go back and be like, what did she say? You'll be able to do so. Okay, so we're going to start real quick with like a round robin of just some quick background information so that everybody's like, this is where you're coming from. So I want to know what brokerage you work for. Do you have a team? How long have you been in the industry? And what were your 2022 production numbers? Yeah, we'll just go this way. We'll just go like this way and then this way and then this way and then this way. And those should be on. How do they go? Can we turn our panelist mics on? Oh, maybe you got to do it. Press the button. Yeah, press the button.
Is this on?
Awesome. Cool.
Okay, I'm going to follow the notes. I'm with Real Estate Experts. I have my own firm, Onyx Wealth Realty, like she mentioned. I do have a team. We started a team about 3 years ago. And I've been in the business for 6 years. And in 2022, we did 124 million. Very good.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Ronan. I work for Coldwell Banker Realty, and I have the Lauren Ronan Group. It's a baby team. We just started in 2021. And then in 2022, as a small team, we sold just over 30 million.
Yay. Oh, you gotta, there we go. I guess we'll pass them down. Take one down, pass it around.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Perry. I'm with Coldwell Banker Realty, and I might have to wear my glasses. I do not have a team. I've been on my own for quite some time. I have been in the business about 29 years overall, 23 years as a realtor, and I do a lot of community service as well. So you'll learn a little bit about that. But I have my production numbers were not like NECA's, but I do go in units as well. So I did 24 units and I did just about a little over 20 million.
Okay, nice job.
Hi, everybody. So my name is Helen Chong, and I actually have been in the business for about 18 years now. And when I first started, I was an independent broker, and my company name was Halen Group, but that was just me and my cat at the time. But I had a vision that I'm going to build a team in the future. Oh. So when I had my second baby, I actually recruited my best friend over there, Susanna, as my first agent, because we just could not handle all the work with 2 little babies. I had like a 1-year-old and the newborn coming in. And so we started splitting our work. And as we grow, we realized that our clients are a lot happier because we now can give them the attention that they need and also the quality of the service that they need. So we start adding my brother-in-law, then my clients, they all want to join in. So now, I mean, we grow very, very slowly. After 10 years, we have 8 agents. But what I love about this process is that most of them came in with absolutely no real estate experience. And so I absolutely love that part.
Mhm.
And last year production, we are just shy of $100 million.
Nice. Very good. Okay, do you have a daily routine? And I expect this to kind of be a lightning round too. And so roughly, what is your daily routine? How many hours do you work each week? And then how much do you guys vacation each year?
I guess I start. So daily routine, it always start with dropping off kids, right? And you know what, thanks to COVID, now my husband, because he worked at home, so now the breakfast is his duty, not my duty anymore.
Yay!
So I actually get to put on my makeup and dress up before I take them to school. But pretty much my meeting starts right at around 9 a.m. I have my calendar filled, everything. I just do what my calendar tells me. That's why I carry my phone here too. And then they said like, oh, I need to be at SCORE by 11:45. So I went into my car and came here. So I really follow my calendar. I have everything calendared, time block. I have all my meetings, like different meetings with different people. I'm constantly talking to people. And also the other.
And then when
question-
do you end your day, or how many
Oh.
hours do you roughly work a day, do you think?
So I'm pretty much as soon as 5:30 hits, I walk into my kitchen and start cooking. So I work nonstop from I talk nonstop from 9 to 5:30.
Mhm.
And then I cook, and then it's just all kids' duty until probably about 9 p.m. We still schedule clients' calls sometimes after 9 p.m. And so the main focus for me is that I want my kids to know that when they're home, I'm focused at them, and we have dinner every single night together,
Mhm.
unless I'm out of town or something.
Yeah.
But I'm very rare that I'm not there.
And do you vacation?
Yes,
How-
yes.
How many
We-
weeks a year do you
We
think?
probably take about 5 weeks of vacation a year. I'm sighing just because kids have so many vacation nowadays.
Yeah.
Every 2 months, they have a week of ski week, winter break, spring break. So we kind of have to do something too. And we probably have about 5 to 6 weeks of vacation, but doesn't mean that we don't work at all.
Sure.
We still work during our vacation.
Sure. Yeah, cool.
I would have to say that my daily routine actually starts the night before.
Mm.
If I don't have my day together for the next day, then I usually will go by my calendar, but that never happens because I always have a plan for the next day. I don't go to bed without that plan.
Okay.
So I carry not only a calendar on my phone that I follow, I carry a journal with me. So I'm a big journaler. I write everything down. From dentist appointments. So I have 6 kids. And some of you can relate to that. So now I'm at a time though where it's kind of changing a little bit because some of my kids are starting to move out. I have 2 away at school. I have 1 that's married. And she has my grandson. So I try to see her as often as possible because I don't want to see her. I want to see him. And she is also having our granddaughter. So I'm really I'm trying to figure out a plan for the future so I can see them at least once a week or even have them every other week, like for the whole day. So we're working on that plan. As you know, I'm pretty busy. And then I have 3 at home though. I have a 19-year-old and I have a senior in high school and I have a 6th grader. I know, I have a 6th grader. All my friends are empty nesters and I still have a 6th grader. So it's very busy. And so it doesn't matter if I have to schedule a dentist appointment, a doctor appointment, a client visit, a listing appointment. Everything is on this journal. I don't leave home without it. I carry it everywhere with me. I write everybody's phone number in it. If if I just met them, and I don't have my phone, or for some reason, I just make sure that anyone I have to talk to is in that. And that's how my day goes. And as I go through the day, sometimes I don't even look at it, but I look at it every night and I cross off. I'm one of those.
Mhm.
I'm old school. I cross off everything that has gotten done and I carry over the rest for the next day. And that's pretty much how I live my life.
Yeah. That's good. How many weeks of vacation do you think you take?
We vacation at least 6 weeks a year. All of our kids go. My daughter's husband, we take the girlfriends. We have 5 boys.
Oh,
So
wow.
we take everybody, we do a big vacation, usually every year, and then we do little things throughout the year. But we make that a priority, and not to say that I don't work on my vacation, because I do. Let's keep it real, right? So.
Thank you. Lauren?
So I also live by my calendar, right? Once you get busy, it's important to time block. And if it's not on my calendar, it most likely doesn't happen. But there's 2 things that I do every day, regardless of how crazy my day is, right? Every day looks a little different for me. But in the morning, the first thing that I do is I actually write down my gratitude. There's a book that you can purchase on Amazon. It's called 2-Minute Mornings. And the first thing it says every morning, I do not look at my phone first thing in the morning. I don't answer anyone until maybe 8:30. So I write down what I'm grateful for, what I want to get rid of, and what I plan on working on for the day. And that after I do my gratitude, it's important to wake up with gratitude. But after I do my gratitude, I also I write down affirmations, and I write them down about 20 times. And I sit in bed with my coffee and I do my affirmations. I also have 2 little kiddos,
Mhm.
but my significant other takes care of the morning time for me, so I can have that morning to decompress. I'm not one of those people that wake up at 4 in the morning and work out. That ain't me.
Mhm.
So that's my time. And then at the end of the day, my favorite thing to do is to snuggle with my daughter and watch really cool Netflix shows with her. We watch a movie, we watch shows, but snuggling with my daughter and taking in, her tininess while, we still can. I don't know how much longer she'll want to watch movies with me. So
Yeah.
so
Cuddle times.
so gratitude in the morning and snuggling and TV in the evening are the 2 things, regardless, I do every single day.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Do you vacation?
I do vacation. And I don't work on my vacations, so don't call me. I'm just kidding. But yes, I have my amazing team, and they take care of everything while I'm on vacation with my little kids. We do a week or 2 in New York in July, because that's where my family is. And we do a week or 2 in July, a week or 2 in December. And then we have little Disneyland trips, a little smattering of Disneyland. So but I can always rely on my girls we're a full woman team, by the way.
Mhm.
I can always rely on my girls to take care of business while I'm gone.
Nice. Love it.
Okay, so if you haven't written anything down, this is what you should write down. The difference between a realtor that's been in business 6 years, me, and one that's been in the business over 20 years, she plans her day the night before. I do not, and I wish I did. Maybe in a few years, I'll have enough discipline to do that, because I think it's the smartest and best thing to do. And you just wake up so much more calm and refreshed and ready for the day. Right. Yeah. And I wish one day. So to answer the questions, 1 minute or less, daily routine. I got asked this question a couple days ago, and I think I disappointed the person that asked. I mean, they laughed, but I think they were disappointed, because my answer was, I really don't have one. I'm starting to adopt different things that I think work for me, but for me, I've been birthing, nursing, or recovering or on bed rest for the last 7 years. And for me, it's all about baby steps right now, because I tend to do a lot all the time, and just a lot always going on. So right now, my routine consists of, I have a very involved husband with the kids, and he allows me mornings as well. I probably do kid drop off 2 times a week, maybe 3, but he takes on the bulk of that. So in the morning, I've been trying really hard, and I've been doing pretty good. I don't look at my phone, because it's already going off, and I can't have it off, for obvious reasons, but, so I don't look at my phone. I try to just kind of pray and meditate a little bit and set intentions for the day. I'm getting really good at that. And, then once my feet hit the ground, that's the only time I can touch my phone, even though it's right there and I know it's kind of going off, but I don't look at it. And that's important for me because I'm just always go, go, go. The other thing, as far as just routine, we did something amazing 3 years ago that I kind of didn't tell anyone about because I was embarrassed about it, but now I'm not, because I think it's not about what it is, but it's about the idea and what it gave back to me in my life. 3 years ago, we hired a chef. So I'm like, amazing, Helen over there. I do not cook often. I love to do it, but it was something that for me took a lot of energy, timing, planning, and I cook kind of slow, and I cook like for like 20 people when, I mean, there's like 20 people in my house, but really. So we hired a chef, and so that takes a lot of time. It gives us a lot of time back. So that's part of that routine. We do try to eat dinner at the dinner table every night. Doesn't usually always happen. They're in about 75 different activities. So doing the best we can. How many hours do I work a week? That is not something you want to know. It's too much. And
How
yeah,
about vacations? Any vacations?
honestly, probably 0 to 1 a year.
Yeah.
I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
You have a lot. Well, first off, you have 6 kids,
Yeah.
right? What are their age ranges?
So 21, 17, the 21-year-old is graduating in May.
Yeah.
For college. So excited. And 7, 5, 2, and 1.
Yeah. So I was just like, with the littler ones, that's harder to get them up and move. That's like
And honestly,
vacation becomes kind of hard,
well,
right? It's like a thing.
vacation is work.
Yeah.
We took him to Disneyland, and I'll never do that again. So no, I'm not.
Maybe you can hire someone to do that.
Miss Destiny, if anyone's recording this, shout out to Miss Destiny, known her 15 years. She's our activities manager for the household. And I literally just texted her last night. She's taking the kids to Disneyland. I'm not going.
Nice. That's so smart. That is brilliant. Yeah, you're gonna start the next one. So, okay, and the reason why we wanted to talk about that is because I want to see these women as complete pictures. They're not just killer real estate agents. They are mothers, they are wives, they are grandmothers, they are professionals and industry leaders. What are your major pipelines that you derive your clients from?
Okay, in the first few years, heavy Zillow. And at that time, we have Zillow Flex now, but before it was just where you pay for Zillow, right? And I was an undercover agent. I was doing real estate part-time for 2 years. And then I finally decided to believe in myself and do it. So I just did whatever my mentor at the time told me to do. And I knew that if I was going to get in front of other people that, other than SOI or referral, especially in the beginning when no one knows me or trusts me, I thought it was important for me to do, these leads that you pay for, whatever the case is, so I can show people what I can do. So that was heavy to build my business, but when you do it right and you're focused on the service that you're giving quickly, and for me, it took about a year, all those people end up referring you. So now you've got like this extended SOI. I'm not from here, right? So all those people that you wowed and impressed, if you keep in touch with them, for me, I couldn't keep in touch with them, like going out to dinner and all of that stuff, because I having too many babies, but I made sure, this is why my social presence became important, because it's kind of that parasocial phenomenon that everyone talks about, right? They get to know you on social media, and just because they didn't see me, when I go places and they recognize me, it's like we have a relationship. So they're referring me, they're sending my, link to other people. So that helped me build to where I really don't do a ton of Zillow. I have it and it helps for my team, but now it's all, I get so many referrals, and every time I'm just like, oh my God, thank you, Lord, because I just don't know how I would have built my business as fast as I did if I didn't rely on a lead source in the beginning.
My major pipeline is referral and also Halloween parties. Halloween parties, I have to say, I think I've closed about 8 to 10 million from just RSVPing yes to Halloween parties. And don't make the mistake of what I did and go as Jack Skellington, because no one will recognize you the next time they meet you. Don't be extra like me. But I swear, just RSVPing yes to social events. I do well in person. So I have really grown my sphere from just saying yes and going to events.
And you do get around, I've seen.
Yeah, I get around.
I would say that all of my business is referral base, even from day one. I started with family and friends, and it kind of just grew from there. But one thing that I do is I take care of my A team. So I would have, and sometimes it changes. I would have anywhere from 5 to 10 clients that just love me, and they all love me. But these 5 to 10 want to help me, want me to do well. And I take very good care of them by taking them out to eat, hanging out with them, answering the phone when they call me 10 times a day, anything to keep that relationship, I will do. And it changes. It's not always the same people, and you will know who those people are because they're the ones that are rooting for you. I also have 3 events a year for my clients, and it can be something small, it can be something big. One thing I do is I do a Christmas open house, and it's easy because they can come and swing by. I give gifts. I have food. I have drinks. It's something easy, but they're always remembered, especially during the holidays, and they love that. And then sometimes I do a wine tasting at my house. I live on a big property, so it's really convenient because I can keep the expense down by having the venue there. And people love to come out and see it. I have animals, so I have like horses. I have them bring their kids. We have pigs, and we did have chickens till the dog came home. But I mean, we really get, and it's important for me too, because the relationship is important. I care about my clients. And I think that's a huge deal, because if they can feel that you care for them, they're always going to want to be there with you and do these things with you. I've had fun things, cooking classes for the women, boutiques at my house. And I try and do it, and I keep them close, and they keep me close. So that is what has worked for me.
All right, well, I'm like listening to you, I was like, I don't know if I can do any of that because the party thing was just like too much for me. Like if any of you had asked me to go out in the evening, I will always say no, because I don't like to social in the evening. I'm pretty much kind of like, I just want to do things in a relationship, like one-on-one. I can do intimate relationship with our clients. So that's why I was saying that I would talk from 9 to 5:30, just building relationship with past clients or new business relationship or other realtors. And I resonate with you so much, Aneka, regarding this Disneyland. Also you don't have time to go out and do things, is because when I first moved here 10 years ago from LA to Silicon Valley, I mentioned that I was pregnant with my second one. My first was 1 year old, and then I had my second one, and then I had my third one within the first 3.5 years. So it was just hectic, and I could not even imagine going out to do anything and meet people. So what I had done at the time, that was around 2012, the market was still kind of slow, and I came here to this new city to build my business all over again. I actually did a lot of online profiles. I'm just starting to like, I need people to see me, but I cannot be physically in front of people. So I started building a lot more online profiles on social media, Facebook and Yelp page, Zillow page, whatever it is. And then that's the only way I could let people see me, was through that. Otherwise, I just didn't have the time and the capacity and the personality to meet people and to be social out there. So that's why right now our business is about 83% on referral basis. And then the rest is pretty much they find us online, Google business profile or Yelp page.
Thank you. What is your most money-making activity that you do, and how much time do you spend doing it each day?
I think I already repeated numerous times.
Yeah. You think,
So
yeah, you think,
yeah,
okay.
I already
So,
talked about it.
okay. Do you have a supportive staff, and what do they do?
Okay. So I started with I just want to mention, like, when you start a business and I mentioned that you realize that you cannot do everything, right? We always, like, a realtor is like a one-man job, and then you just want to do everything because you're going to be doing marketing, you're going to be doing the sales, you're going to have to learn how to do the contracts, you have to be educated and then teaching your clients and all that stuff. How can you do everything? And then, and then you have kids, you have to be the mom, you have to be the wife, you have to cook, you have to clean and all that, right? Yes, the list goes on. And I was at a point where I almost broke down and just kind of like, how the heck do women do this? And then I had somebody who told me, it's like, you need to hire someone. And I was like, I didn't have the money. How can I hire somebody? And it's like, well, you can start small. So I started with 5 hours, just hire somebody 5 hours a week and try it out. And I was like, okay, this is kind of working. A few weeks later, I was like, how about you work 10 hours? So I started that way by trying to just hire somebody to leverage a little bit. And on top of that, I didn't have any families in the area to say, like, can I drop off my kids with you, right? So that was so important. I think it's such an important lesson for me to leverage. And then I leverage my friend, Susanna. She is really good she's very organized. I'm very good with negotiation and contracts, and I understand real estate. I had more real estate experience at the time. So she was the one that will help me with, like, scheduling, working with the clients, customer service, etc. Then later with the marketing, I looked, but eventually I hired a VA to do marketing because I work from home. I need to be home so that I can walk to the kitchen and cook, right? So that's why I hire everybody as a virtual assistant. I don't have on-site staff. I don't have full-time staff. My marketing assistant is VA. My social media manager is a VA. And that's pretty about it.
Wow. Well, I have an amazing, we have an amazing staff at Coldwell Banker. So I have to give props to our admin people, because if I have a problem or an issue or I need something, I just make a phone call and they are on it. And, sometimes they'll just call me and say, what can I do for you today? So that's pretty amazing. I also have a transaction coordinator because I don't have any time to do any of that, but she is amazing. She stays on top of me. And then I have an awesome video person. He's right here, actually. Say hi, Isidro and Myra. So they help me with all of my, because I feel that I really sell lifestyle. I've kind of changed over to lifestyle, and I do a lot of video work. And if you haven't seen it, you want to get onto my IG so you can see it, because I really take a lot of pride in that. I put a lot of work into it. I think one of the questions on here, but I won't answer it. So it kind of makes me feel like I'm living the dream, and I really feel like I am. I feel like all the people that have come into my life really have served a purpose for me. And I'm taking a lot from the women that are on this panel today. So I know that you guys are too, because I always have wanted to start a team, not to say that I haven't attempted to, but it just wasn't the right time. I have 6 children, and growing up, time was of the essence for them and for me, and the relationship that I have at home. And so now entering into a new time, I know I said I've been in the business 29 years, but I'm only 35. So I don't know how that is, but even entering into this stage, I'm not even thinking about retirement, because I love everything that I do. And so is it the right time for me to start a team and start slow? And that might be the answer. So thank you, ladies. So getting back to that, I would say, yes, I have a great support team. I have my husband, I have a house cleaner, I have people that help us on our property. I have my daughter, who is fantastic about helping me with my kids that are in school still. So it takes a village of all of us to support me in what I do.
I also have to give a shout out to the staff at Coldwell Banker Realty. They have allowed me the resources to grow my team, because just like Helen, I did feel like I was drowning. Oh, Can you hear me? Okay. I did, just like Helen, feel like I was drowning at some point and I was getting yelled at family vacations. Oh my God, you're always on your phone. You're never present, And so I got to that point where I said, oh my God, I have to do something about this because my work home life balance was so off, and I have little kids and they're just growing so fast. And I finally said, I think it's time for me to grow a team. But I never worked on a team, so I didn't know where to start. And, I started with hiring an assistant, and I had a virtual assistant, and then, eventually I transferred over to Coldwell Banker Realty, and they kind of set me up for success for growing my team. I have a small team. I have 3 agents and 1 amazing assistant, and each of my team members, I'm like emotional. Each of my team members have something that I don't. So it's really important that if you are, developing a team, that you hire someone who's more organized than you. Organization is not my strong suit. So I have Amanda giving me all organized. And then I have Ailey, who's my right hand. She's my extension of me. If I don't have time to do something, she's on it. And they have given me my life back. They have given me my family back. I don't get yelled at on family vacations. I really barely answer my phone. And it's just, I'm so blessed to have them. And so, yeah, and the Coldwell Banker staff, like I said, and especially in South County, they're just phenomenal. So, yeah.
For what is the most money-making activity, being present and like available to answer questions. And what I mean by that is it took a long time, especially with my husband and having kids and just building the business, all of that at the same time, that we finally, I feel like, have gotten to the place where we both understand when the phone rings, especially if it's for a client, but like even now, maybe it's Zillow Flex or whatever. It's not that we have to answer it every single time, but we understand that, say we're in the car, like Sundays have become a really long day for us because one of my sons is in AAU basketball and then also has flag football. And that's right after church. And then we usually have a client. Last Sunday, we were in the car from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. in and out a little bit with all 4 kids in the back. And so for situations like that, if the phone rings, but it's important, I need to take it, having the capacity, the space and the freedom, and permission almost, if you will, like within the relationship with my husband or the kids, that they kind of know, okay, mommy needs to take a call. Like we're in the car for 8 hours, like I can take a call. So mommy needs to take a call, be quiet, or daddy or whatever. So we've structured our life in that way to be more flexible about that, because we get to do whatever we want, whenever we want. So people are kind of always like, oh, well, don't you like having your weekends off? What does that mean? A weekend to me could be a Tuesday and a Wednesday. I like the random. I didn't grow up with a lot of structure in my childhood. And so for me, creating that structure in my life has been, I treat my business as a true business. Space, everything I see, my office, my environment, I structure it that way. And, mine does sometimes go into the nighttime, and I'm okay with that. We structure things that way, but I also treat my life as a business. So literally any assistant I've ever hired for the last 5 years, I tell them from the first interview, you will do mostly professional things for me and you will do personal things. So I love it when I hear a lot of people use VAs a lot, and I wish I use them a lot more because they're much cheaper. But, even though I might not see them all the time and it's a lot on Zoom, I like knowing that if I need you to go get my dry cleaning right before the speaking engagement, I need you to go do it so I can look as good as these women, because clearly I didn't get the memo to wear the heels. I'm actually really upset about it, but next time you'll tell me, right? Okay. So that's important for me, and support staff. So that one was big. I transitioned a lot in a good way, and it wasn't a monetary reason, meaning like from COVID, things were really, really good, right? Those were our best years. I had a good amount of support staff. I had 2 kind of like part-time assistants, if you will, that were doing a lot of task-driven stuff. They would go into the office all the time. And then I had one kind of personal like main assistant. But as things change, what I found is I have a really bad habit of it's almost like they see what we do, and they think it's easy, and then they want to become a realtor. And I never want to stop them, but I always tell them in the beginning, if you want to be a realtor, this is not the job. So not saying they lie, but things change. So I always let them, but I'm like, there's no revolving door here. I've got to have consistency here. I welcome you. You can be on my team, even though I don't take newer agents, but if you're an assistant of mine, you can be on my team. I'll help train you, all that. And then they may not sell, right? So I say all that to say, now I'm getting to a place really recently where I'm just keeping 2 assistants. One of them actually happens to be my transaction coordinator, who I forced to buy a house, and she needs more money. So I'm like, oh, you can work more for me. So she does more stuff for me. And then the other one is my best friend of like 23 years. She's been with me 2.5 years. I told her our friendship comes first. If I piss you off, tell me you're going to quit and you can have whatever time you need to go find a new one. She stuck with me and she just had a baby and she loves the flexibility. So I'm keeping both of them. They do so much personal and professional for me. And for me, I think no matter how things continue to grow, I just want to keep it at that. I like consistency. Neither of them want to be a realtor at all, ever. So that just makes me feel good.
Yay. Don't you hate that when people are like, oh, it looks so easy?
Sorry, Jen, can I add one thing?
Sure, of course.
I love what you just said, Aneka, and then like, especially having your best friend work with you. It's just like what I mentioned, right? Susanna is my best friend. We know each other since we were 5 or 6, but then we're so opposite that she complements my weaknesses. So if you're looking for somebody to help you, please don't find somebody who act or do things just like you. Find somebody completely opposite from you. That will really help you out.
Yeah. I'm going to skip around, ladies, just in case you're like, what the heck? Because we have 18 minutes and I want to get in some hard hitting questions here. Tell us about a time when you made a huge mistake and what did you learn? Yeah, I said it. Oh, and by the way, you look gorgeous, Neka. I love that shirt. It's beautiful.
So I got the heel.
I'm short, so I always wear heels. It's just like not an option.
Now I know. I feel like I make mistakes all the time. A huge one.
Share any mistake, really, because the reason I ask this question is because we can talk about their successes, but what are we learning from that? The things we're going to really learn from are when you messed up and how you fixed it. And that's where our lessons are going to be learned. That's where I learn. I screw up everything. That's why I'm so smart.
Sounds good. That was a good one. Honestly, I can't think of like a good example to give, but one that's gonna sound really lame. One of those like, tell me about your weakness, but it's really a strength. Okay. Is that I didn't start this earlier. As women, I'm just gonna speak for myself, but as women, we don't believe in ourselves enough. And still do a little bit, but I'm working on it. But I feel like for so much of my life, I needed other people to tell me I was good enough and you can do it and believe in me. And then I would literally use their belief in me and I'd run on that. Right. But I'm working on that and it's a process. But if I would have started this sooner, if I would have known that I would love it like I do, to me, that's a mistake. You can't go back. It's fine. I'm living with it. But what I'm doing with that is I have 4 girls, 2 of them are boys, and I want all of them to be licensed like by the time they're 20. I don't care if they use it. I'm not forcing them to do it or anything. 2 of them have already said, we want to work for the family business. So yay. But I just think it's important to have it as an option. And frankly, I want their DRE number to be really low so that people think they've been doing it forever.
Hilarious. Huge mistake. When I first started, I actually bought and sold my own property and I lost a lot of money. So honestly, the advice that I give to newer realtors is, if you're just starting, do not buy or sell your own home. I know some people get their license just so they can dabble in themselves. I mean, even right now, 6 years in the business, I probably would not want to represent myself. I'd probably want someone else to represent me just because it's such an emotional process. So that was my biggest mistake.
Gosh, that is a good question. Because I've probably made several mistakes, but I think one big one, and I've learned a lot from my mistakes. I'm very, very, I look at everything open-minded for sure. But I would say one mistake happened to be that I was pretty new in the business. and I took a listing. It might have been, I think it was like my fourth or fifth listing. So no excuses, right? So we filled out the required disclosures. In this case, the TDS. He filled it out, my client, and he did mark that he had AC. I didn't check it. I didn't walk the property to check. I don't know. I super busy during the time I had, I was new and I was busy and I put it on the MLS. Well, when we got the offer in, they're assuming there's AC. So it was a costly mistake for me because I assumed responsibility and I paid for it. Even though my client told me that he did have it and he didn't. So that was a big mistake. To me, that was a big mistake because it cost me money. And it was a good learning experience for me because I walk every single room and I walk all around the property. And yes, I'm that person with the Avid that has pictures. So not all of them, but a lot of them. So just take the time, really take the time. And I always schedule now my clients to have 2 to 3 hours when we're doing a listing and we're walking the property and filling out disclosures because it's very important.
So my biggest mistakes is really hiring the wrong agents to join my team. I have a soft spot for people, and I like I said, I like one-on-one conversation, and if I like this person, I feel like, we can get along. In the beginning, I was like, okay, maybe that will be a good fit. As I learned is that really the agents that stress me out the most, even though they're making a lot of money, is the ones that are just saying, I want to be in this business because I want to make money. And I'm just like, so I learn now that when I hire agents, I always ask, why do you want to be in real estate? And then sometimes the question is like, because I think real estate is fun. You get to meet a lot of people and you have flexible schedule. I'm like, no, that's not my question. Why do you want to be in real estate? What is the purpose for you to be in real estate? And if they cannot give me that answer, pretty much I know we're not going to go far with this conversation. And then on top of that, we do DISC personality test on everyone who comes in. And Lindsay, who joined our team about like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and she knows I asked questions. I kept asking, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do this? And then I make her do DISC profile test. The reason is that our team is actually comprised with a lot of introverts. And a lot of people think that you have to be very outgoing in order to become a realtor, but you really don't have to. One of our most successful agents, Susanna, she's totally introvert. Don't talk to her. She's shy. She just kind of hide in the corner most of the time, but she's so good at what she does. And if I bring in somebody who is a high I, meaning like very outgoing, that kills my whole team culture right there. If I bring in someone who is like a high, very dominant, like I have to talk, I have like be the one that show that I'm the dominant person, same thing. The whole team culture is gone. So and that stressed me out so much that I realized when those people are gone, I feel so much happier. I don't feel like, I need to worry about like, how much money are you producing? How much sales volume are you going to make? And this is probably one of the reasons why I love brand new agents who have no experience. I don't care. I can train you. I can teach you from beginning. But if they come in saying like, I just want to make more money, I'm like, this is not the right fit for me.
Thank you. That was very great. Tell me about a time when you were underestimated and how did you handle it and what was the outcome? Ooh. Have you ever been underestimated?
Oh, really?
I have actually.
Yeah. Tell me about a time you've been underestimated.
Yeah, well, I get the old, hey there, kiddo, get the from the old timers, I'm like, oh, I'm a 35-year-old woman. I'll take it. You can call me anything, but ma'am, don't call me ma'am. Not into it. You can call me kiddo. But besides that, the young thing, I love being younger and in the business. I have a lot of energy. I also dress up a lot. I'm very wear bright colors and stuff like that. So sometimes people take that as like, maybe I'm like a bimbo or something like that. Kind of like, was it Elle Woods? Yeah. Right. So I get that sometimes, but I'm actually very, very educated. I have 60 credits past my master's in education and psychology. So, you know, I'm fun and I'm outgoing and I'm the extrovert, and I love mingling and meeting new people. I thrive on meeting new people. But I'm very smart and I'm very strategic. But one time that I was really underestimated was I was at an open house and I was 7-8 months pregnant with my son, and it was my listing, and a guy walked in and he had a house to sell in San Jose, and he didn't like my listing, but he did want to buy a home in Morgan Hill, and where I am. And I said, hey, let's meet. Let's schedule an appointment. And I called him and he didn't answer. And then I called him again. Hey, what's up? It's Lauren Ronan. I'd love to come over and give you a market analysis on your home. And he said, oh, yeah, sure. Come next week or whatever. And then I was scared. So I brought my broker with me at the time because I just knew he was going to be like, well, you're 7 months pregnant. How the heck are you going to help me? So I showed up, I did my listing presentation. We talked, we got a little bit about what he wanted. We got him excited and he said, but the elephant in the room. I said, yeah, what elephant in the room? And he said, you're 7 months pregnant. How are you going to sell my home and be there for me? When it comes to, buying a home in Morgan Hill. And I said, oh, don't even worry about it. I got my partner. We're good. I promise I will deliver, literally and figuratively. And I did, and he was so happy that I actually, I sold his home for over asking. I helped him buy a home for under asking in Morgan Hill. He got a great deal. And in addition to counter offering on my hospital bed, I also helped sell his other home in San Jose. So from that one deal, I had 3 deals, and this was, 2018. So this was my, I think, like year and a half in, 2 years in. And I mean, I really worked hard because I was very much underestimated for being pregnant, and I worked my butt off. That was not stopping me. So.
Anybody else have a great underestimated story? Nneka?
Well,
I'm not going to say one, but I just wanted to say, kudos to you for bringing someone, but I also think that sucks because we shouldn't have to bring someone to make you feel better because we're pregnant. It's not a disability. It's actually our superpower.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's true. So true. Helen, you want to add anything?
Yeah, so if some of you don't know, I do commercial real estate on top of our residential real estate business. And when I first moved up here about 10 years ago, I was also pregnant, and usually I hide in a big coat. And then I had listings, and it was like a retail listing. And then a guy literally said, so how did you get this listing? And I'm just like, oh, he didn't just say that to me. And then he added on, I was like, was that because of your look? And I was like, I cannot say that, but I was just so pissed. So I did a lot of research. I'm like, how can I prove myself that I know what I'm doing and I'm good at commercial real estate? And I had a lot of destinations like GRI, ABR, blah, 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 like long line, right? But I didn't have one for commercial real estate. So I started started doing research and found CCIM, and then freaking CCIM is so hard to do. And then you have to take four core classes. Each one is 4 full day long. And then you have to go to San Francisco. And I just had my babies. I was like, I need to pump. So I will lug my pumping machine. If this is TMI, sorry, but it's real life. So I had to like pump in between, breaks. And then lug my pumps back onto Caltrain and come back to San Jose that night, right? So I did that, and through 2 pregnancies and also about 4 years, you also need to have a portfolio, to prove that you actually have done transactions in commercial real estate. So finally, I qualified to take my comprehensive exam, which is 6 hours long in Chicago. So I was like, oh my God, I'm finally there. And so I got pinned, and that was the biggest moment in my life. That was 2017. Um, and on top of that, I started attending the Northern California chapter CCIM luncheons. And initially when I first walked in there, I was probably the only woman, and not to mention Asian woman, and it's in the back, and the residential realtor. So nobody really talked to me. But I was 9 months pregnant at the time. Then somebody started talking to me, saying like, okay, she keeps coming. It's like every month I see her, but she's just sitting in the back. So somebody asked me like, would you like to volunteer for the chapter? I'm like, sure, I'll volunteer. Long story short, that was 2014. By 2020, I became the president for their chapter, and for 2 years. And yeah. And I almost broke into tears last month when I went to their luncheon. Now we see 50% women in our luncheon. I just could not believe it. I was just like, I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it, and get emotional because it's such a long road to go to get there. And I always say that if it's not because I showed up, right? If I didn't show up, I wouldn't have given them the opportunity to accept me. But because I showed up in front of them, I don't care. I look different. I might not be a 100% commercial realtor. I may not be a man. I may not be whatever, but I'm here to be part of your community, and they accepted me and allowed me to be that. And so that's just my story.
That's wonderful. I love it. Thank you so much. And actually, I want to follow up with that question to you, Michelle, because you spent a lot of your time in service to our industry. Can you talk a little bit about that, and how does that cultivate in your business or in your life?
Well, I would say that I started in service a long time ago. I think when I first got into the business, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of NAHREP. I was a big component of NAHREP. I was the Santa Clara County president for several years. And then because I'm in South County, I ran some nonprofits there as well. I would say that, coming from that standpoint, how it is with my work and how busy I can be, it really has structured me as a person. And I can't really say that I've ever really felt underestimated at any point. I would say I'm more underestimated out there in this world right now because, everybody knows everything, right? Everybody has an opinion. And when you're going to purchase a home, everyone has, they all know more than you. And that's when I felt underestimated because, I have to come back and say, well, are we going to do this your way? Or are we going to talk about what my expertise is? And so, I would say that it doesn't really concur with that, but, I have felt discrimination over the years. Absolutely. And so that's why I got involved in the service that I do with NAHREP, with Nora. And now I'm going to be your 2024 president for SCORE. So I'm really excited about that.
I believe you're the first Latina woman, correct?
I'm the first Latina woman.
That's correct.
And this organization has been around for a very long time. So I'm really excited, and I see a lot of faces that I'm going to be tapping on their shoulders because I think it's time. And one of the things that you said, all of us had said, is, I felt that way when I was pregnant. I actually didn't have a great outcome because it wasn't just the husband, it was the wife too. They felt that I would not be able to handle the transaction because I was 9 months pregnant. And, so they actually didn't move forward with me. And even though I told them, I've been doing this, having babies and working for a long time. So I felt that they were making a mistake, but they moved on, and I did run into them years later, and they did apologize. And they actually did have a cousin that they referred to me. So I guess there is a positive outcome from that. So.
And then real quick, I know we're about to go and Nneka has to leave, so maybe we can let her do it first. Can you just give one last bit of anything you want to leave us with, whatever you think should be left or needs to be said?
I'm gonna look at your notes.
Well, I do ask about self-care. We talk about any advice you want to give to entrepreneurs starting off in the business.
Sure, it doesn't exist. What pressures do you feel as a woman in the
Yep.
business?
Yeah.
Oh,
free.
a lot. So we have an all-woman team, except for my husband who helps me run the team. I will give him props. We used to have another guy on the team. It's not by design, it just happened, but I'm secretly okay with it. What pressures do I feel? Gosh, talked about it a lot with just people underestimating, but I think I'm still kind of in the mode where I feel like I have to prove myself. I don't know when that's gonna stop, but just feeling like I'm not the imposter syndrome that we all have, right? I have that all the time. I mean, I will like when I run out of here and I have to make it to an appointment, a personal appointment, and that's why I have to go. So I apologize, but I will literally overthink everything I said or what I didn't say, or I hope I didn't come across this way. I feel like men, sorry, tell me if I'm wrong, but you guys don't deal with that as much, right? Am I lying? Tell me. No, really, like I wish I had that, but I think as women, because we're probably a little bit more naturally nurturing, I'm not saying you're not, right? We're not putting people in boxes, but I think because of that, we're constantly giving of our entire selves and beings literally and figuratively to our kids and, you know, all that. I think by nature, we just kind of overcompensate in every way. And I'm trying to get out of that. I don't know. I don't know that I have the answer to that, but the pressure I feel there is just, you know, going to listing appointment, like you guys are saying, whether I'm pregnant or not, or I always find myself I always find a way to make sure people know I have kids, because I feel like a lot of times if I'm not dressed up or maybe I didn't put my eyebrows on that day. It looked like I'm like 12. And so I think that people really, really, truly are like, I mean, have you been doing this at all? So. Oh, yeah. That's it.
The perception is big.
I love how unapologetically yourself you are. It's amazing. It's awesome. That's good energy. I just went to this event, this great event. It was called Launch. It was in where was I? Oakland. Yes, I was in Oakland. And this guy stood up. His name was Chris Benjamin, who's pretty awesome. And he said, raise your hand if you guys would ever no-show at a listing appointment. Raise your hand if you would no-show at a listing appointment, right? No one is raising their hand, right? So if you wouldn't no-show for a listing appointment, then why would you no-show for yourself? Right? Certain days we wake up and we're just not in the mood to make the phone calls, and we're just not in the mood to talk to people. And sometimes I'm really not in the mood to go to those parties, the Halloween party, but I know that there's someone there that needs assistance or has a parent or a family member that needs assistance. And so it is important that you show up for yourself. If on your calendar, it says office time from 10 to 12, your butt better be in the chair dialing from 10 to 12. Go to the gym even when you're not feeling it. He said, F your mood. Your mood, F your mood. Doesn't matter. And I took that away from that event, and I'm applying it, because last week I was not in the mood to go to the gym. But you know what? I just did it, and it made me feel better. And when you show up for yourself, just like you would show up for a listing appointment, the business will come.
So maybe I needed to hear that. Maybe I'll go to the gym. Because I really need a kick in the butt, let me tell you. You know, a couple of things. One is one of the questions she asked is, what did you want to be when you were, growing up? And one of them was, well, actually, the only one is I thought I was going to be an actress. I really did. And you know something, I am. Have you guys seen my videos? Okay. So that was the one that I wasn't going to say, but it is. And I absolutely love it. And, you know, and then one of the other questions that I wanted to mention is self-care. And I just think it's so important because I would say the first half of the time I was in this business, because I was married previously and now I've been in this amazing marriage for the last 14 years, but I was running like a crazy person because I was, have kids and I have a husband and I have a household and I have work and I was busy and I didn't half the time know whether I was coming or going. And I forgot what friends were. And I forgot what me time was. And so I would say after my divorce, I really had a time to reflect on that and really think about my business, my kids. And luckily my kids were still young. And I really resonated in that and made it a point to make them first and make me first and make God first. And so I just was like, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. So we do have dinner every night together and it has to be, something major that has to come up. And it's almost like I'm asking for permission. Sometimes I'm like, this has come up and I really have to do it. And my husband will say, okay. And for the last, I would say 8 years, I've really have gotten back with my friends and I have a tribe around me and I surround myself with women that not just know me and understand me, but are doing more than me and have just something more to give to me. One of my friends standing back there, her name's Violet. And so we can be so different, but yet we can be the same. And you need to have that. You need to have that time for yourself. I don't always do it, don't get me wrong, but I plan it. And I make it a part of my plan that we get away or we do something. It doesn't matter if it's lunch or dinner, but you need that. You need to hear what's going on in other people's lives because we're crazy. We are. I mean, we do a lot. And I didn't really realize everything that we do until, maybe 10 years ago. And really started focusing on me, my life, my career, and my family. So.
So in terms of the pressure as a woman, it's funny because when you talk about the eyebrow thing, my husband used to joke around. I was like, why are women? No, actually, he said, his mom is like, oh, when she wakes up in the morning, it's like she just rose from the grave. And I was like, oh my God. And then like how guys just take 5 minutes, you guys can walk out of the house looking exactly like this. And then we don't look like this when we first wake up. So it takes a little longer so that you guys can appreciate how we look.
This took an hour.
But jokes aside on that is that I just had this conversation with my son this morning, my 3 kids, as we were going to school. I asked them like, what does it mean to you guys to have a working mom? And my younger 2, they kind of like, oh, hardworking, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I asked my 12-year-old, I want you to answer me. And he was like, a mom who works. I was like, picture a mom. What do you see? He was like, oh, somebody with t-shirt and jeans, doing laundry, cleaning and doing dishes and all that stuff. I was like, okay, what about a working mom? And then he was like struggling and is like, I don't know, like in front of a computer or doing yard duty at school. I was like, huh? And then I asked him, I was like, what about working dad? What do you see? And then he said, in the meeting. So that gave me a red flag. I was like, wow, that's my son. And he knows what I do. He knows I'm the chapter president. He knows that I'm a regional vice president handling 10 chapters, but he does not see me as a leader. He doesn't feel like women can be a leader. And I feel like I feel bad saying that, but I told him, I was like, look, that's a stereotype right there. And it's really hard for women to be put in a leadership position or being seen as a leader. And why is that? And then I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And we are all learning from it and things are changing, which is really great. And look at all the men here supporting this event, right? Yeah. So I'm not here to say like, oh man, poor us. No, I'm so proud of the change. And it is very natural for a 12-year-old to have that kind of image. So let's let's continue to educate our younger generations, our agents, to change this industry. And another thing is like, I think that we have so much power as whatever women or men in this industry to change and make it a better industry. We all agree that real estate industry has a bad reputation. You talk to anyone outside of here, our industry, they think realtors are greedy. They think we don't do work, we're lazy. We're like, oh, that's easy money for you guys to do. That's why everyone wants to be a realtor, right? Then how do we change that? Are we really just a salesperson, or are we a consultant or advisor? We have to really think about that. Why do we need to be educated ourselves so that we can educate other people, our consumer, to take care of their biggest investment in their lifetime, and so that when they retire, they will have enough money to retire. So I think that's something that we really have to think a lot.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much. That's beautiful. Well, and to what you're saying, I would just like to say that part of the reason why we are here is because of the DEI committee at SCORE. We've been working to try to bring our affinity groups and work together. And that's why we did this with Women's Council, because we believe that we should be working together to create a more diverse world. And as real estate agents, I always tell people I am a steward of the community. It is my job to make sure that there's fair housing, that people get opportunities that they shouldn't, and that communities are healthy. And that is done through goodwill and generosity and education. So I want to thank our panelists who are amazing. Can we give them a round of applause? Absolutely.